Good morning. Today we are going to be talking about powerful communication strategies to help you feel understood and respected. Now, everyone, whether you're in a romantic partnership, you're married, you are a leader, and you take care of a team, whether you're a parent and you want to build a strong connection with your children, all of these people groups have one thing in common, right? They need to have strong, effective communication skills in order to build tight knit relationships. If we don't have effective communication skills, then we are going to suffer in our personal relationships, and our professional relationships will suffer, resulting in stagnant careers, lack of fulfillment, and at home, kind of like that sensation if you visualize an awesome birthday cake that looks amazing. It's got all the icing you want. You think when you bite into it, it's going to have all the layers of your favorite cake. It's got all the candles, but you bite into it and you're so disappointed with the texture on the inside. It lacks flavor. That's what it's like when you step into your office and you don't feel adequate in your ability to communicate. You just never feel like the person on the other end of the conversation actually hears you or cares about you and treats you with respect and follows through on what you need them to do. Or if you go home, think about the cake, that emptiness inside. When you want to connect with your kids or you want to feel loved and respected in your relationship, your romantic relationship, we can't do that unless we have effective communication skills. So Amy Engelmark here. If you're just tuning in and we don't know each other well yet, welcome. And if you want to have access to all of my other classes I'm teaching during the month of August, I highly recommend joining the House of Impact. It's my private Facebook group. So I'm going to be sharing with you from my personal life some communication strategies that have been very helpful and effective for me in my marriage and creating love and respect and connection between the two of us. And I'll also be sharing strategies from the book Crucial Conversations, which I highly recommend purchasing to help you in your personal life as well as in your professional life navigate those more high stakes conversations, or those conversations that you've been trying to have that seem to be leading nowhere. Now, in no way will this be an all-inclusive training because I'll only be on here for probably 10 to 15 minutes. But this topic is so important and not talked about enough as the bedrock foundation that will help you skyrocket your ability to create strong relationships, love, health, and happiness, as well as increased finances. So a few points I want to share with you first is when we communicate, there's no way that you will communicate effectively unless you see yourself as worthy of respect, unless you see yourself as equally valuable to the person across the table, to the other person in the conversation. We can end up not speaking up at all because we're trying to keep the peace, or we can aim to win in the conversation or to look good when our focus should be healthy dialogue. That's the focus today, is open communication. Open communication over looking good, over winning, over any other focus. So you can't do that unless you treat yourself with respect. If you don't see yourself as equally valuable, then you won't open up. So it seems like I shouldn't even have to share that point, that we need to see ourselves as equally valuable, but we do, and it's crucial. No change can be created Hold on to this point. No change can be created if you don't speak up. You cannot wait. You cannot hope for the situation to change. I had a client and she was really frustrated because someone on her team was not changing her ways. The team member was not doing what was expected of her in that role. And my client didn't know how to address the situation and would try her best until we started addressing how she needed to communicate in a more effective way. The situation just wouldn't budge. And the person themselves was not open, was not willing to understand my client, and would therefore the professional atmosphere in the workplace was negatively impacted, not just for my client and her team member, but also for the rest of the people in the office. It became a negative space. And we all know that when we're feeling more negative or like we're walking on eggshells, we can't be as focused, productive, because we're not happy. We can't be relaxed. So we have to speak up. We can't wait for change. We can't hope for it. We have to be actively involved in the creation of healthy relationships in order for them to materialize. So, what will you stand for today in your communication at home, with your spouse, with your children, in the office, if you have a team, or with your clients or customers? Remember, the goal is healthy dialogue. It's not keeping the peace. It's not pleasing. It's not winning. It's not proving your point and pushing. So, how do we do that? We know we need to stand for something, right? So, in my personal relationship, what I've chosen to stand for is always one, that I matter too. And I was never told that I don't matter, but sometimes we come into relationships feeling like maybe we're less important for whatever reason. And that keeps us from speaking up. And two, that there's always a win-win situation. That helps me feel understood as a leader, as a woman, as a person. It helps me receive respect by respecting myself first. So when I believe that there can be a win-win scenario, then I don't procrastinate and avoid crucial conversations, important conversations. I stand up and I believe that we both can be happy. And in a professional setting, adopting a win-win perspective that both people can be happy is really important for you as well, because it helps you take courage to have the hard conversation, right? If you're watching this and something's hitting home for you, I would encourage you to drop that in the chat, because it really helps me track with you and see who's watching, what you really care about, and what you find valuable. So if you have an insight or a question that pops up, please share that in the chat so that I can connect with you. Also, see who's watching and tuning in, and also so that I can answer your questions, because I will save time for that and I will go back and review them personally. So let me share with you some really important pieces from this book that I found very valuable, and then I'll end with a 3-step process. So 2 quotes to start. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has already taken place. George Bernard Shaw. Let me say that one again. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's already taken place. So you may believe that you've communicated effectively to your spouse, to your kids, or to someone in the office, or to a customer, but they don't seem to be getting the message. All right? So don't assume that someone understands what you've communicated and has agreed to it. Silence doesn't mean someone's agreed. A smile doesn't mean someone's agreed or that they understand you. And you can't move forward unless everyone has, in this book, they talk about adding meaning to the pool. So if that other person in the conversation hasn't had an opportunity to speak their bit and add it to the pool of meaning, then there's a lack of understanding between the two of you. Another quote in this book that I found really hit me in the gut was this one. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. So I want you to write this down for yourself. I want you to get honest with yourself. That's how we create change. And I want you to ask yourself, where have I become silent about things that matter? In my personal relationship or in my professional working relationships? What have I started tolerating and become silent about that I want to take responsibility for being more open and communicative about? I want you to write the first thing that comes to mind. Where have I become silent about something that really matters to me and is important to me? It's good stuff, hey? So when I work with my clients, I go more in depth into strategies that I use, as well as proven strategies that I glean from books that I've read and trainings that I've attended and my coaching training, so that they can have exponential growth and connection in their family lives as well as with their teams. So productivity increases, sales increase, happiness increase. Everything gets better when our communication skills become stronger and we feel like we're a more confident communicator. So I want to leave you with a 3-step process to ask yourself in any conversation that will help you create mutual understanding and respect. So if you're joining me live, I see some of you are joining me live. I would love to know who you are and where you're from. So put that in the chat if you don't mind. Here's the 3-step process. When you're stepping into a conversation, no matter how high stakes it is, or just a bit uncomfortable, you can ask yourself these 3 questions. What do I really want for myself? Do I really want to be heard? Is it really important for me to have a resolution right now or not? Do I want some sort of specific response from someone else? What do I really want? Remember, I just said for someone else, but this question is all about you. So what do you want for you? Second question is, what do I really want for others? What do I want for that other person? How do I want them to feel? What outcome do I want for them? And this helps your heart soften. We always want to be coming into conversations from the heart first, because it's important for us to love ourselves and love others. Question number 3 to ask yourself is, what do I really want for the relationship? So if it's between you and your team, or you and your child, or you and your spouse, what do I want for this relationship, for us? Me, them, us. Any questions, please let me know, and I will personally respond to you. If you'd like to access my video trainings and articles that I write and you're not yet on my email community, I'm going to pop in the comments my happiness checklist, because when you sign up for that, you'll start receiving communication from me, love notes sometimes, and specific strategies to help you feel healthier, happier, and wealthier in every area of your life. So if you're a visionary and you have a big dream and you're career focused and you want to be able to pursue that dream with joy, happiness, more calmness, I suggest you get in contact with me and get on that list. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for showing up and getting more education under your belt. See you soon.